everyone, and welcome to another story time with When Girls Talk Books. I'm Kylie.
I'm Susie.
And today, we're doing a dark romance.
Mm-hmm.
Fair warning.
Yeah.
To everybody.
Family and friends, tune out now. You know me in real life. Don't watch this episode.
We don't judge.
Or just don't talk to me about it.
Yeah. You don't have to look me in the eyes when you say that you listen to it, but...
Yeah.
So we're doing Lights Out by Navessa Allen. And
here we go.
This is Into the Darkness series. This is her first one. Her second one came out recently. I haven't read it yet. But...
Oh, it's a series.
Yes. So the next one is Junior. Junior. It's his story. Anyhow. Star rating. We'll start with that.
7 out of 5.
I knew.
5. I cannot give this book a more perfect score.
I was scared a little bit. So when you sent me that Snapchat of like, oh my gosh, I was like, was it too much? I kind of got...
I've shown her my truest self. I must leave.
I kind of was like, I hope this wasn't like triggering or anything. I was worried.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I must say I was shooketh at how well I handled this book.
Yeah. When you finished it and you were like,
so
I love this. I was like,
I'm gonna need some more of these dark books.
Well, this was I don't know if I would say this is an entry level one, but semi entry.
Okay, that makes me feel
definitely
good,
a lot.
So we can
down
go
the rabbit hole. Yeah. Okay. So the first time I read it, I gave it 4 stars.
Okay.
Second time I read it, I gave it 3.5.
Little vanilla. Little boring.
Could have used a little bit more spice in it. No, I'm just kidding. And the reason why is because I saw a video after I read it the first time that said it seemed like the book was cut in half and you were told one story and then you were told a different one. Yeah. And that kind of stuck with me and I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yep, I could see that for sure.
I did give it 3.5. Spice, 5. 5 out of 5. 10.
Perfection.
It was great. And I love Josh. Anyway.
Me too. Saving the J names for me. For once, I don't have something shitty to say about a J name. Yeah!
Okay. Should we get into it?
I suppose.
Okay. So, we start out with Allie, and she is our main female character, and she is a trauma nurse. Which, kudos. Honestly, I could never do that.
I don't have enough emotional regulation for a job like that.
No. And Allie is kind of like a veteran is kind of how I would put it. Mm-hmm. She's been there for a while. She can handle herself really well. But they have a new hire who she can tell is kind of having a meltdown. So she helps her out and is like, okay, go home. There's therapists you can call, things like that. And Allie, what gets her through the day, really, is Instagram, I guess, I suppose. Maybe a TikTok.
Yeah.
With the masked man.
Yeah, she follows a very specific thirst account.
Very specific. And he just makes her day. And what I thought was so funny about this, she's commenting on everything he posts.
She's bold. Yeah, like, girl, I would never.
I would never.
Or if I would, it'd be my user 224 whatever burner account. Like, come on.
But she makes it very apparent that she is
his biggest fan.
Which all the girls in his comments are. But he never responds to any of them, and it's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. My thing was, I had the hardest time, and I think this a lot if I even see it on TikTok. Oh, no. Some dude sat down and filmed this.
Yeah, like, okay, I'm so glad. Perfect, we're gonna talk shit. So, yeah, when I see shit like that, I'm like, so wait. You took time out of your day to get yourself in this getup and take yourself seriously. And then you had to walk over there and push play. And then wait and come back over and act it all out. Like, oh. But you guys want to make fun of girls for doing selfies and TikToks together?
It's so funny.
Right. Okay.
And specifically, like, the acting type ones. Oh, man. Get me every time.
Because I sit there and I try to, like, you're so serious right now.
And then I love if you look in the comments, somebody's like, He really sat down and did this.
That's how I judge the crying ones. There's a time and place for crying ones.
Gosh.
I get it. Sometimes I'm like, that girl. Like, you can tell she, and then other ones you're like, this is well rehearsed. Yeah. This is so well rehearsed.
Respectfully, you will never catch me crying in a video.
Like, unless it's sent to me.
And even that's pushing it.
Yeah.
I've read a book. If I'm sending it to anybody, it's because a book made me cry, and I'm telling you about it. Or, like, something really, really horrible.
Someone's in the hospital.
I'm calling you.
True.
Like, yeah. You would not catch me sending a video of me crying. No.
I understand. Doesn't want that kind of blackmail. Doesn't want me to have that kind of blackmail. Yeah. I understand.
I got all I need for you. You send like vlogs throughout your day. We get vlogs.
Like, if you're one of the people that gets blessed with my storytime Snapchats, like they are really funny, and I am choosing to trust you a lot because those angles.
Yeah.
I'm a person, I'll say whatever I have to say to your face, so I'm not really worried about whatever I'm saying on the Snapchat, but God, just the way that I'm willing to let myself look around you.
I'll just be like, ding, 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 and I'll just press play and be like, okay, hold on. I gotta take a good 3 minutes here.
Yep. Everyone hang on.
Anyway.
So back in the boat. Anyway. So she's got her thirst traps. That's what gets her through her day. You know what, girl? If you're busy saving lives all day, you can look at a handsome man.
Yeah.
Pop off.
You get what gets you through the day.
Okay, girl.
And he posts 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
And he's very structured about it. So she knew that day that there was going to be a new video out. And she was like...
That's kind of how I am about Bunny XO podcast. Like, I know when her podcasts are coming and I'm like, everyone go away. It's time to listen to Bunny.
I can't do this right now. So she looks at the video, and then she goes home after her shift. It is what it is. And then we get introduced to Fred, her cat, who is a mouthy little thing. And he is very upset with her because she works long hours.
Dinner is 3 hours late.
Literally. And so we get the introduction there. It's just her and her cat. But she also is kind of seeing somebody, kind of, sort of, Tyler.
Oh, yes.
And
I literally forgot. Like, what? Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. And she's like, man, I'm stressed. I sure would like to see him. But they're really just hooking up. And she sends him a picture of the masked man TikTok. Snap. It's not messed up. But she sends, like, a screenshot of it and sends it to him and is like, would you be interested in this? I'll make it worth your while. And he's like...
I forgot about this. Yeah. No. Like, I'm good.
He's like...
Knowing what I know now, I'm like...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he also was like, oh, I thought you ghosted me or something, because she hasn't spoken to him in so long. And so he's like...
Yeah, that's right. Like,
Yeah. And then we get Josh. Josh is Tyler's roommate. And they're sitting on the couch and they're talking. And he's like, look what, Allie just sent me. Yeah. Which Josh and Allie have met before. So he's like, look what Allie sent me. And it's Josh. It's his page. And so he's like...
Nobody knows that Josh is the masked man, not even his roommate.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really had to get past this whole thing because I really like Josh. Really like the masked man too. Don't love the whole concept of filming yourself and putting it online. Even though it kind of explains why he does it, I still was struggling a little bit with it. But so Josh has like a panic attack about like
shit, he's gonna figure it out. He knows. Oh God.
Because it shows his tattoos. It's like it's very aesthetically pleasing, and he's like, if he looks at that picture too much, he's gonna notice it's me. So he like secretly deletes it off his phone.
That would be me as well, though, if I was in that situation.
Do you have a secret account I need to know about?
I do not have any secret accounts. Anyone?
I'm gonna be looking up user 6, whatever you said, or roll that back. I'm gonna need to Google that.
We're married, my user 224 whatever burner account. Like, come on. All of a sudden, right now, what are all her favorite numbers again? What's a funny? What was the name of that pet she had? Oh, these are security questions. This is getting shady.
Foo man.
I need to study that tattoo again. Look at it.
Yeah.
What color is her daisy?
So he panics and he's like, oh, oops, sorry, deleted it. And Tyler's like, I didn't want it on my phone anyway. And he kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it was just a casual accident.
And he kind of is like... Tyler is an interesting character. Because he's not the worst, but he's also not the best. And he, like, kind of liked Allie, but Allie always seemed really closed off, and so it never really went anywhere. And he's not, like, mad about it, but he's definitely, like, a little bit bitter about
As
it.
any man would be like, oh, I gave you the grace of my presence, and you're not going to be just on the floor.
Weeping at my feet.
Yeah.
And so then Josh is like, oh, Allie's into that. Like, ooh, she sent him my thing. And so
my
he
first
like...
one of the day. Dear Diary!
Well, he kind of spirals about it a little bit. Like, he does this a lot, actually. He spirals a bit.
I don't know
he's like,
ever spiral or overthink
I've
things
never done that in my entire life. Me.
Jeez,
Before we
that's
started recording. So, but he really likes the looks of Allie. He always thought that she was cute because they met one time when her and Tyler were together and she came out for coffee and it was a whole thing. But he's really weird about people seeing his face and he doesn't want anyone to look too closely at him because...
His father is an infamous serial killer. I was very excited to get to tell everyone that. Thank you for letting me just... Yep.
His dad is the Ken doll killer, who's very infamous, up there with Bundy, and was very attractive, and Josh looks almost identical to him. And there was a documentary that came out that summer talking about it. So he wasn't like gonna look at her, but they kind of had like an interaction, and he was like, "Oh man, she's just beautiful, love it."
Scrumptious.
Yeah. So he's a hacker.
With a troubled past. In my notes.
Yes, he is. So he works in cybersecurity. He works for a cybersecurity company and works from home. But he's also just this, on the side, hacker,
No big deal.
Can just hack into anything. So
Hackers terrify me. Like, they really do. Because I'm like, God, you could just, like, ruin my whole life with one clickety-clack.
Yeah. But he goes onto his page and, like, runs software. Sorry.
It's like me trying to describe your job. He clicks the things and does the stuff.
She said one time, she goes, this is just kind of personal. She goes, yeah, those percentages and forms.
Trying to describe your job to people. Forms and percentages and finance.
Oh, man, that cracked me up so hard. Anyway, so he runs, like, a software on his page to, like, search out every comment that Allie's ever made, because he also finds her Instagram page, TikTok, whatever it is.
Just some light work.
Yeah. And so he finds out that she comments on everything. She's watched, like, thousands of hours of his video. Yes, she's a very, very big fan. And so he's like, well, let's put this theory to the test, essentially.
Especially because some of her comments.
Yes. She's very,
in one of her comments,
brave.
Yes.
What she says.
She's making specific requests. She wants the masked man to break into her home.
Yes.
That's what she wants.
Yeah.
And he finally finds that one and was like, oh, man.
She's very active on there, but she is a big fan, but there are other people in those comments that are doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So... he said, let's see, let's test this theory. But also, he has such, like, a crisis about this because he's terrified of turning into his dad.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so he's like, I shouldn't like this, but, like, I kind of like it. And,
I ain't gonna do it, girl. I'm just thinking about it.
And then he does.
I did it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he does break into her home.
He does break into her home, and it's far too easy. And
so, ladies,
he's like having a panic attack though while he's breaking in. Well, that did nothing.
True.
But he's like really struggling with it, and he's like, if I get caught, like game over. Which
his inner monologue is hysterical. Like it is so funny.
Side note, I saw another video that said this, so I'll just put it in there because it was so true. This book is just a bunch of crimes.
Yes.
It's just a bunch of illegal activity.
Yes.
But, so he does break into her house and meets Fred, who Josh has been in therapy for a long time because his dad was caught when he was pretty young. And so he's like almost hyper fixated on if he's a serial killer or not. Which we come to find out, a therapist kind of was doing this study saying that all kids of serial killers will be serial killers, and they kind of like used him as an example.
Yeah, that was horrible to learn about.
And put him on antipsychotics and things like that, which he didn't need. And so he's got a lot going on up there. But when he meets Fred likes him, which Fred hates men.
Yep.
Valid. And he like has a moment of like, oh, well, I don't want to hurt this animal, which not a serial killer in his mind. Okay. But so he is just like, okay, cute, and he goes and he films a thirst trap in her bedroom. Mm-hmm. And she sees it while she's at work, and she's like, oh my gosh, this could be my room. Like, this might be my favorite video.
Oh my god.
And she, like, sees it immediately and comments on it. And then she gets off work and she comes home, and he has left his mask on her bed.
The way that I would be like, my heart would be doing somersaults, but also being like, this is how you get on Dateline. Like, this is how those Paula's on videos start. And why am I so excited?
Let me be very clear. I ate this up. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I will read it. I will read pretty much anything.
This was the first book that I, like, thought about when I wasn't reading it. Like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like, I need to get back to my book.
Loved it. In real world, I'm calling the police immediately.
Yeah, we wouldn't actually be this cool, so like everyone just come on for the ride and let's funny ha-ha all the jokes.
Like,
so, like
even if it was Justin and he, like, I would need a prep beforehand or else I'm calling the police. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's fair.
My nervous system? No.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but she's like, you couldn't possibly be the masked man. Also, he set up a camera in her room to gauge her reaction.
Yeah, so she has no idea that he's filming and watching what she's...
No.
Like, live.
Yeah. Live, and he's watching, and she's all... Like, she's, like, watching her reaction, and then he kind of, for a second, is like, oh my gosh, this was such a mistake, and
yeah.
Because she grabs a gun out of her drawer and is, like, checking the house.
Me is
valid. And, but she sends him a DM and is like, funny, would you, any chance, like, have broken into my house?
Yeah. Hey, quick question.
Literally. And he's like, what would you say if I did? Because he's also like, I don't want to incriminate myself.
Yeah, I'm not just going to admit to this felony. Are you kidding me?
And she's all, it depends on your intentions. And he said something like, what? I don't even remember what he said.
Something along the lines are like, his intentions are good, but his intentions are not to murder.
He's not going to murder her. Yeah. And she's into it. And she gets real into it, and he cuts the camera. Because he's like, I can't watch it.
He's a psycho with morals, and we love that. I'm all for a bad guy as long as they've got some kind of moral code that I can get behind.
Agreed.
Like, you leave him alone. Like, he's got a damn good reason.
Hey! Well, I can't say that yet. He's got some things about him, but he's a good man.
A good man, Savannah.
Yeah. But Allie kind of starts being like, okay, how did he get into my house? Like, she starts being realistic here a little bit.
This is where I got annoyed because she was being a normal person with a very normal reaction, a healthy reaction, and was like being smart. And I was like, boring!
Boring, let him in!
I always act like I'd be so fucking cool about stuff. No, I wouldn't.
I'm not even gonna pretend.
I freak out if my fake schedule in my head that I didn't tell anyone about doesn't go according to plan. But sure, I'd let some masked stranger break into my home and thirst trap me and I wouldn't be upset about it. Bitch, please.
If I came home and the window is open, I'm coming to your house.
Yep.
I'm not sleeping in my house tonight because A, my windows are never open. I know it wasn't me. Somebody's in this house. They're in the crawl space. They're waiting for me to fall asleep, and then they're going to come up and they're going to murder me.
This is so 100%.
Or they're living in the attic, and they have been for years.
I'm still semi-convinced that there's someone in my rental attic sometimes. I'm just like, there's just something, I just can't explain it. It's just like...
Go up there, find out.
My mom's house is haunted. I don't want to find another ghost.
But what if it's a person?
Then I'm going to hope it was a ghost again.
But what if it's a masked person?
Hope it's Josh.
Well, then we're going to be changing our tune a little bit. Sorry, Eric.
Maybe I overreacted. So sorry, sir.
No, you stay. I'll go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Allie starts, like, looking up, like, how do trackers get into your house? Like, what data can they find? Things like that. She finds out that they can see you through your laptop screen, which anybody who's looking through my laptop screen, I hope you enjoy me at 10 o'clock with the towel wrapped around my head playing my Sims, eating my hot Cheetos. It's a good sight.
If you want to look in any of our webcams, it's going to be
Literally.
But actually, with the hair, like, on top of it.
Because I don't want the clip here. It bugs me.
Oh, yeah, it hurts my neck.
Yeah.
Okay,
anyway. So she finds out that they can see through the camera, and so she goes to, like, turn her camera off, and he messages her and says don't, and she's like, you did it. She kind of freaks out on him.
Mm-hmm.
And she ends up or she goes, I'm gonna find you, or something, because now it's a game. So now she's like, I'm gonna find you, and whatever. She closes the
She's sassy.
camera off.
She's very
sassy. She's very, like, gives a little stabby vibes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a fantasy book, stabby vibes. Well.
I was like, are you doing that on purpose?
No. But then she hasn't turned off, she hasn't found the camera in her room, and she didn't turn off the volume on her laptop. So he can still hear her, and he hears her call Tyler, because she's like, hey, this is really weird, but isn't your roommate really good with computers? And he's like,
shit.
Literally, I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, this is really weird. You know, can he help me find somebody? And he's like, is someone bugging you? We'll help you. Like,
we'll kick his ass.
We'll take care of it. And she's like, no. I don't think so. But could he help me? And he's like, well, I'll ask him. And
how do I say no?
Yeah. Well,
and I can't say no, because what if she finds someone that's really good and they find me?
Well, then he kind of panics about, like, if she comes here, my headboard is custom made. Like, all his
that I just had to have, and all these things, all these specific things that I just needed.
Yeah, because he was very, like, detailed about this, like, his content, I guess you could say, he's very prideful of. So, like, it's going to be very obvious if she walks into his room or sees his bedroom in any way that that's him. So then he has a spiral about that, and then he sends Allie a flower shop, essentially. Like, all these bouquets of flowers. The delivery driver won't return them. She says, we'll take him to this hospital, and she pays him $50 to, like, get him out of her apartment or house.
That had to be so many flowers to, like, want to get rid of them.
Yeah. Well, because she says, like, what, did you send me a whole flower shop? And they have some really good, like, witty back and forth. I loved that aspect of it. But he also sends her home defense tools, new security system, cameras, things like that.
Nice.
Bars for her windows. Nice. Do Reddit. And also a camera finder, because he's a man with morals. He wants her to find the camera.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like...
And she's like, she does find the camera, and she's like, are you serious? And she gets pissed, and she undoes it, and she's really mad at him. And she goes to work, and he messages her, or he posts his Wednesday post or whatever, and it's all these sappy ones, and the caption is, when she's mad at you.
I was
hilarious.
picturing like sad Deadpool stuff. But like in a motorcycle helmet, because those ones usually are like
yeah, literally. And he gets so many comments on here. Like, how could anyone be mad at him? And da da da. So he posts that, and she said, what if she has a good reason to be mad at you? Did you mean to say, is that what you meant to say, or something like that? And he likes her comment, and then
everyone figured it out.
He follows her. And she's the only person that he follows. So it's a really big deal. Very Kanye. And so then everybody is like, oh my gosh, you know, like, are they together? And is that who, you know, he's talking about? And then she gets like really nasty comments because, of course, it's the internet. But then she is like, she's at work and she's like, what if he's watching me on the hospital cameras? So then she flips off the camera and he messages her and says rude. I thought that was funny.
That was awesome.
And he says something.
You know there's something wrong with us a little bit when we're like, oh, he's watching everybody. That's so sweet. I'm like,
but
if
in a book?
Right? Oh.
Okay.
We love a man that's protective in
Real
life. What the fuck is wrong with you?
How dare you? First of all, that's against the law. Yeah. like no.
Oh yeah, I just cackle myself. I'm like, God, you're such a hypocrite. Like, in theory, you're so fun.
But I'm gonna twirl my hair as I read about it. And so then she messages him as like, why would you do that? Like, now I'm getting all this stuff, and like people are trying to follow her, and so on and so forth.
You're like, honey, you've been commenting yourself, like, Allie.
But it's different. Because he liked her comment and he followed her. And he never replies to anybody and he doesn't follow anybody. So it's like a big deal.
True.
And he says, I have no regrets about claiming you.
Yes, sir. Whatever you say. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we just step out of it for a second? Can you imagine... What would you do if Eric said that to you? Like, realistically. Exactly. I would be
equivalent to what they
crying,
growled. Be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I would laugh so hard about claiming you. Claiming who? Me? You're out of your mind. Claim this. How about that?
Claim this knuckle sandwich.
Yeah, literally. Now, on a serious note, there is a mass shooting that ends up happening, and she has to go. So she shoves her stuff in, and she runs to help with that. And
back to saving lives, right?
Pulled out of that thirst trap for a minute.
I wish that could be that cool. It could be like typing on TikTok 1 second and then saving a life 4 seconds later. Big deal. Well,
he watches her while she's doing this too, and like he really praises her, like she's such a rock star, and it's like so cool to see her in her element. So she works like 20 hours more than her shift. She's been awake for like 40 hours or something at this point.
Just a casual Tuesday.
Hats off to you, because I couldn't do that.
Had it dropped.
Yeah. And he watches her the whole time because, you know, he's a little bit of a creep, but, you know, hey. And he decides that he's going to give her a ride home because it's snowy, it's cold out, the roads are icy, she's just worked 40 hours straight.
For us to get to this.
And so she goes to the parking garage and her car is running, and she's like, I certainly didn't leave my car running.
The fuck?
Yeah. So she goes around and she sees him sitting in the seat, and he doesn't want her to recognize his voice.
Yeah, mind you, a burly ass, tatted up, masked stranger
is in your car,
sitting in your vehicle.
Again, 911. Like running,
backing up,
running back into that hospital.
But what does our girl do?
He says, like, you're safe, and, you know, he's got morals, Susie, and he sets some weapons in the passenger seat, like, for her, in case she, like, feels weird about it. Then she, like, feels in control. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But, of course, the true crime lover in me was like, they're just fakes, and he just wants her to feel comfortable.
Well, they
so he
were.
can pull the real one out, and...
Yeah, I mean, not the... But the other thing, he put blanks in.
Thank God.
Well, she didn't, yeah. She didn't use it. Come on, Susie. But anyway, so he's like, I'll give you a ride home. Well, he's like texting this out. Ick. I can't even imagine. Let me to read that. Like, no.
Like a DoorDash guy showing up.
She gets in the car because he's like, you have control of the situation.
This is a book, not real life. It's fine. Yeah, the dumbass gets in the car.
What was your star rating?
10 to 12 out of 5, but yes.
Anyway, so she gets in the car and he like brings her snacks and stuff, and
very sweet.
It is all very sweet.
It is honestly very sweet.
But she's like, well, you could have poisoned him. Because also she thinks for a moment there that he is a serial killer and he uses his social media to lure victims in. So
I mean, smartest thing she's thought up so far. Like, girl.
Proceeds to get in the car with him.
Yep.
And she does, so he like has the snacks and stuff, so he's like, they're not poisonous. And it's homemade trail mix and water and all that jazz. And the roads are really icy.
Ben, take notes. Bring snacks.
Snacks.
Yeah.
I don't want homemade granola though, honestly, but
I want a Jersey Mike.
yeah.
Okay. I want a double cheeseburger.
I'll do you one better. I want a Dave's hot chicken.
Yeah. With the strawberry Oreo shake. Oh yeah.
And extra sauce.
Oh.
And extra sauce. And I want cheese. Don't forget that, or else it's ruined.
Don't come home at all.
Anyway, so she kind of toys with him with the, weapons at her disposal, and she's like, it didn't ever occur to you that maybe, like...
I'm the crazy one.
You need to be protected from me.
This is when I fell in love with her a little bit. I was like, yes!
And also, it's really icy out, and there's this guy that's, like, tailgating them, and he gets out of his car, and he grabs the knife, and is like, boot. I loved that. I thought that was so funny.
I laughed so hard at that, and I don't usually laugh when I read books, but this one,
it was really funny. Josh is really funny. Mm-hmm. And then the guy, like, takes off.
Like, male characters.
Yes. Especially for being a dark romance. Like, usually you just kind of get, like... he's an asshole to everybody but her. But this, like, he was funny. I enjoyed him. Do you want to take over from here about the rest of the car ride, or? You want me?
Yeah, I'm already turning 50 shades of pink. We could just say it gets spicy.
Let's just set the scene here a little bit. Allie has been, thirsting over this man for
she has been
probably years at this point.
We'll say.
And, she sees her shot and she takes it.
An opportunity arose. And she took full advantage of her opportunity.
And she said, yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir. And she, has a little surprise for him. So, hey, he enjoys it. But she accidentally stabs him in the process.
I
didn't really understand the logistics of that, but I had to let it go.
Because I'm pretty sure it must have been in her hand, and when it slipped back. That's what I'm picturing.
Because it, like, slices his finger.
Oh, I forgot it's his hand, not his arm. I thought
it's his finger.
Hurt his arm.
It's, like, right here, I'm pretty sure.
So then, it had to have been in very close proximity.
He turned off, and she was like, did you just stray from the GPS?
I'm like,
and he's like, no, I didn't.
I'm like, we're going to need to figure this out in my truck. Purely for science sake, don't get weird, everybody.
Whatever you and Eric do in your time is up to you guys. I just need to recreate something. Yeah, honey, why do you have a knife?
Calm down. Why are you asking so many questions?
Gosh, I bring a knife and all of a sudden you start shivering in your boots.
Where's your sense of adventure? You married a fireside.
You should have known.
Yeah.
Anywho, that happens. And then so she takes him back to her house because she's a nurse, and she stitches him up. And Fred is just loving all up on him, and she's like, "You traitor!"
Like, what the hell? And
I don't know at this point, but he starts to like call Fred their child, and like he'll be like, "Mommy and Daddy, da 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 da," and I just love that. Probably because I love cats, but I'm like,
it is sweet though.
And she takes one of the bloody gauze and she puts it in her freezer because she's going to,
You know what, girl? Good job.
Hey.
She's clever. She
got in that car, but she's a little smart.
Yep.
And then he's like, okay, you need to go to bed. And she's like, but what if I don't? And he's like, go to bed. You've been at work. Go to bed.
Yes, sir. Whatever you say.
And she's like, fine.
But I'm not even tired.
She's been awake for 40 hours straight. And then the next morning, like you do, he breaks into her house again. But he leaves her pancakes from her favorite bakery. And then he also shovels her driveway and clears off her car of all the snow.
Gentleman.
So then she's like, well, my neighbors had to have seen him. But I look like a crazy person if I go out there like, what did he look like? So she very coyly is like, oh, yeah. And she's like, the neighbor, which they're really close, is like, you didn't tell me you had a man. And she's like, oh, yeah, it's new, And she's like, well, good job, because he is good looking.
Meanwhile, my neighbors won't even wave back if I wave at them and say hi.
Now we're back to Josh's point of view. This book is dual point of views. So you really get the insight into Josh's mind.
I noticed that this book does a good job of kind of splitting it up, or I should say evenly. Like you get one chapter Allie, one chapter Josh, one chapter. There was a couple other books that we've read where it's like 3 or 4 in a row of one character, which is fine. Now that I don't hate BJ so much, like it's fine. I can listen to him.
This is a public service announcement. Susie doesn't hate BJ anymore.
Yes.
She's into book 3.
Yes.
Oh, you're quite a ways into it.
Yeah, I've
Turns
tried
out
to slow down.
He's not the worst.
Nope. He just didn't deal with his trauma. No.
Like a little baby. That's what I imagine you saying. Anyway, so we're back at Josh and Tyler's house, and Josh finds out that Tyler, like, kind of vets girls that he brings home. He never brings home any girl that's into true crime. And Josh didn't know that. So it's kind of like, oh, he is a good friend. Like, Tyler really does care for Josh. And they've been friends since he was little. So he's been with him through everything. And there was a point at school where people found out. And so they transferred universities. Like, and it was, like, not a question for Tyler. Like, let's just leave then. Like, we'll just be done with it. So Tyler is a good friend. And then he says something about he wouldn't be mad if Josh and Allie got together. Because Allie's coming over to get help find this guy. And Josh is kind of like taken aback by it. And he's like, if she can take you off my hands a little bit and like let me breathe,
that'd be great.
Because Josh has a little bit of an issue with boundaries, I guess you could say.
What? What makes you say that?
He, like, has a tracker in Tyler's car. He knows where Tyler is at all times. And, like, he just has a lot of trauma, and he needs to make sure that the people that he loves are safe. And that's his, like, way to do it, I guess.
I kind of understand it because we share locations with each other.
Yeah, like, but that's in case I get murdered. Or, if I'm like, she's not texting me back. She's at home.
There better be a damn good explanation. Hi, lie to your life. What could you possibly be doing?
Hello. Anyway, so then Allie comes over to the house, and she likes what she sees of Josh, which she did before, but now she's like really eyeing him up. And she shakes his hand.
She squeezes
and she
shit out of it.
And
something
he's like,
we would do.
Huh?
Something we would do.
Yeah, yeah. Bet.
I mean, he's the one with fingerless gloves in his house.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. He had this whole plan. The house was going to be like 50 degrees, so that way he would put on a sweatshirt, but it wouldn't be too chilly, so she wouldn't be cold. 50 degrees? 50 degrees?
You're speaking to the girl that lives in a refrigerator. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, you know, my house is set to
50 degrees?
That's cold. It would be cold. My house is set to 64, so.
Okay.
I'm a hot, sweaty bitch. Okay.
Freeze locker.
I can store meat upstairs.
Yeah, literally. You don't got to worry about putting your leftovers away, I guess. It's a little weird. I don't want to see your PG bill in the summer.
Now, it would... When I was reading this part, he's talking about how he's going to be basically all emo.
Yeah.
The whole time in my head, I'm picturing her seeing him like this, and then the song in her head, 'cause tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
Over again. Anyway, so Allie is like immediately suspicious that Josh is the masked man because the chemistry. I could just tell it was him because the chemistry. But you only have chemistry with one person your entire life. Be so for real. Anyway, that irritated me. But so she's suspicious of him, and then she also like texts the masked man's phone.
That was hysterical.
To see if it was Josh, and he has like an automatic system set up for snarky replies.
He put ChatGPT on there. Like, help me out.
And so it replies, and so she kind of gets like, oh, disappointed, I guess.
Like, oh, it's not this hot one. Well, god damn it.
Yeah. And then they don't end up finding anything, of course, because Josh.
Because he's a professional.
He's not a tracker.
Hacker. The hash-slinging slasher.
And so then they like hang out for a while, and they like kind of goof around, and it's just, you know, they hit it off.
Lots of flirty.
Very flirty. And Josh ends up telling his mom about Allie, which I thought was kind of cute, and because she called all in a panic about the mass shooting, and then he kind of tells her about Allie and how she's a nurse, and she helped with that, and she was like, oh, well, she sounds great. Anyway, I felt like that was kind of... I feel like both their parents were just kind of sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
Not so much his dad, because that's obviously a main plot point, but... Anyway. And then Allie gets home for work one day, and she's pissed that Josh is... Not Josh, sorry. The masked man. But she's like, Josh is the masked man.
There's something that happens
She said it immediately
women.
in that
we get
chapter.
these intuitions, and then we know
she's a witch.
And we just wait.
She's a witch.
It's true. Like, we wait for it, and then when it happens, we just kind of sit there like, I fucking told you. And everyone looks at us like, why do I gaslight my gut feelings?
Respectfully, Susie.
Something's coming when it starts with respectfully.
I feel like I am the friend in the group that's like, but you don't listen. But you don't listen.
Yep.
I get what you're saying. And I think sometimes, and even I do it, like blissfully unaware. Like, we're just gonna...
Or we try to be like, stop being mean. Like, we try to call ourselves like we're being mean or too harsh. And then it's like, the thing we said was gonna happen happens. Or the person is shitty like we said they were gonna be shitty. And everyone goes, well, how did you know? And I'm like...
Because I walked in the room and the vibes were off.
Yep.
That's how I knew. But... And you're crazy.
Yep.
The voices.
The voices!
Okay. Anyway.
Back in the boat. Sorry. Can't say
We're
this
bad
today.
Allie gets home. She's upset that the masked man is not waiting for her. So what?
My stalker didn't break into my house. God fucking damn it.
Well, they've been like chatting a lot, and at this point, like, she knows who he is. So she's like, come on.
Yep.
So what is the appropriate response for that? She plugs her camera back in.
Oh, okay. I was like, sorry. There's like so much big things that I'm like, yeah, anyway.
Which also, he was going to come to her house, but he ended up falling asleep. And so he was late.
This was when he woke up like on the panic because he had slept.
Yeah,
right?
but he was on his way.
Okay.
And so she plugs her camera back in, and how you say, gives a little show. I guess you can say.
This part. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was.
And
she put on a performance.
What are you doing? She's all, me? It's so funny. And so he shows up at her house, and he
calls her on her bluff.
Yeah, he says, Daddy's home. And he has a voice modulator at this point, so now he can talk to her.
Yep.
Anyway.
Because the Batman accent was getting a little tiring.
Yeah, and as I put on here, they get down to business.
Yep.
They get down to business. Do you want to elaborate anymore?
If I had less shame and there wasn't family members that watch this and support us, maybe so.
I don't think... Is this the part...
Uh-huh.
Are you sure?
Well, it's not that part, but it's kinky.
Okay, but it's not the part that I'm thinking.
No.
Okay. They just get down to... It's just all vanilla.
Yep. They had a Bible study together, and then made a crap.
She was preaching. She
was praying, all right?
He was praying. Anyway, sometime later,
Yep.
She takes a shower. He makes her bacon and eggs, which is a plot point to remember.
Yes, remember that.
And he is a vegan, also to remember. And she got a little tracker, and she's like... He's watching her on his phone as he's making breakfast, and she puts it in his bag, and he's like,
So us, we think like, you wait, bitch.
So us. He's not in my house, Susie.
But if we were in that situation, we would so be like,
Yeah.
I put one in his bag, and Susie's outside under the car right now, zip tying it onto the bumper. He's never gonna find us.
Yeah. And so she thanks him for the breakfast, and he's like, I gotta go. He leaves, and he is driving, and she immediately gets on her computer to look to see where he's going, because she's
got her popcorn. Well, her scrambled eggs and bacon.
Which the bacon is raw, and the eggs have a bunch of eggshells in them. Clearly not a cook.
Scrambled eggs are already borderline a sensory nightmare. So then you throw shell in there, and I'm like, you're not gonna recover.
Yeah, and I'm not having scrambled eggs without cheese. Call me a
or
toddler
toast.
all you want.
I cannot eat an egg product without some sort of carb vessel to distract me from the weird motherfucking texture that's happening.
I love potatoes.
Oh
yeah. Anyway.
Demonic growl.
He growled. Oh yeah.
Potatoes get me excited.
So he drives, and the city is on a grid, so he drives out, LOL, and she is like...
I thought that was so funny.
And because he's also watching her, and she's like, are you serious? She's pissed. Are you serious? Da, 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 da. And she says, I bet you're real proud of yourself, Josh. And she unplugs the camera, and he's all...
Shit.
And she tells him, joke's on you, I have your blood, and I took a strand of hair off your sweatshirt yesterday, so I'm going to find out exactly who you are.
Good thing he took one of Tyler's.
Yeah, 2 steps ahead here. But she does still go ahead and ask the person at the hospital to run the DNA.
Yes.
To check to see if it's matched. Is that a hospital job? Don't know. But anyway, so then... he understands that she's really mad at him, and he's like, I'll give you space, da-da-da-da. But don't mistake this, because I'll be coming for you, or something like that. Have all the space you want, but I've laid claim to you.
I'm so scared.
Are you gonna break into my house or something?
Oh, no.
I'm devastated. So then... he's so funny. He films a video of himself, got his whole gist going, and the caption of it is Mommy and Daddy time, because at this point now he's claiming that Fred is his child.
Yep.
And the comments go crazy. I didn't know he was married, and Allie Oxenfree is so lucky, and da-da-da-da-da. And she's like, are you for real?
I can't imagine, just being a normal person with basically no followers, and then you kind of end up with someone that's social media famous, and all these people know who you are, and you're like, ah!
No, thank you. Me. I'm like, I don't really talk to you. No.
My nosy ass, ooh, sure.
she's like, are you for real? And then she is at the hospital, and there's a guy there, and she's like, what's up with him? And it is Bradley Bloom is how I'm going to say his name.
Can I just say that in my head, I had pictured this as Brock Turner.
Yeah.
Like, the gist of that's who this character is.
Yeah. If you don't know who Brock Turner is,
have fun. Come back and let us know.
Anyway, and he is a known sexual offender, is how I'm going to say it. And none of the staff want to help him. So they were waiting on the mail from in room 2 or whatever to come and be done and help him out. And she's like, well, I'll do it. Like, the sooner we can get rid of him, the better. Like, I'm a tough gal.
I can handle this guy.
And she starts to walk, and immediately the phone rings. And it is obviously the masked man.
And this is during the time where he's supposed to be giving her space.
Yes. But he's worried. Because he immediately looked up who it was, and he saw the past and things like that. And she goes, tell him I'm fine. Because she knows it's him.
She just knew.
And so she goes to help him, and she's trying to be very, like, straightforward. Like, I'm your nurse, da-da-da-da. And he's trying to be all, like, skeezy.
Arrogant, cocky, entitled.
Yeah.
I think those are the 3
we were
looking for.
And at one point, he tries to grab her. And she, like, moves out of his grip. And he's like, oh, you're scared of me. And she's like, why would I be scared of you? And says some offensive things. And
as
love
she
it.
should.
And he starts, like, screaming that she's trying to hurt him.
Classic.
The biggest joke in the world. And the...
Well, I mean, he is a rich...
Yes.
Young male in America. Yeah. He's the biggest victim of them all.
And his family's very wealthy and very well known. So he gets out of all of these things.
You wouldn't understand. His life is so hard.
Yeah, because nobody likes him. Anyway, and the cop comes in and he's like, we're not doing this today, Bradley.
I was pissed at that security guard for fucking it up and dropping her name. Like, you're trained and know not to do that.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Because he's like, you're okay, Allie. Yeah.
That made me angry.
Yeah. But anyway, so she, like, leaves. And there ends up being another victim who comes in, and it's a woman, middle-aged, looks a lot like Allie's mom, and she had been impaled. And Allie kind of, like, loses it and is like, I can't do it.
That's a lot. Like, 2 major things like that on one shift. That's a lot.
Yeah, and she's like, I can't. And so they end up letting her leave for the day because she has a whole thing. And Josh, masked man, whatever we want to call him at this point, is like, I have to get to her house. Like, something's wrong. Something's really wrong, and it's not just this dude, you know. And he puts on a balaclava, not a baklava.
Which is a delicious dessert.
But he forgot that his voice modulator was in the old mask. So he's like...
Whoopsie.
I'm Batman. And he puts on the Batman voice, and he's, like, practicing it with Fred. Funniest thing ever.
That was really funny.
Yeah. But he goes to essentially comfort her and all this stuff, and she goes, nice touch with the blue contacts. I can see your brown eyes around him. And he's like, at this point, give it up, dude.
Yeah.
And so then she tells Josh, masked man, about her mom and how they were in a car accident and her mom essentially died right next to her. And she blames herself.
Sad.
And it's a whole, like, therapy session because, you know, he's been in therapy for years. And then she finds out that he took 2 weeks off the same time she did. So she's been meaning to take vacation, time off. And so he took the same time off. Now,
coincidentally,
as a drastic change of pace here, they, you know,
play a game. Let's play a game.
You know, there are some weapons that are stabbed into a mattress and some activities that are done with them. If you would like to read it, feel free.
Yes, it's got to be somewhere between chapter...
Are you writing this down?
12, I want to say, maybe? Somewhere after, I think, chapter 12, but before chapter 16. That's all I can remember. My random choices and notes this time, usually I do write down the chapter.
You write down pages.
I coincidentally did not write that down so that I should, yeah.
But they get up to some freaky things, and at some point he forgets about his Batman voice, and she goes, clock that. Mm-hmm. And then he ends up staying the night with her, and he wakes up, and his mask is sideways. And they hear a noise, and she's like, "What was that?" And he says, "I don't know. I'm blind." And
Help
she's
me.
like, "What? I can't see anything. Help me." She's like, "You stupid baklava. Yeah. Your stupid baklava is in the way." And he's like, "It's a balaclava." Anyway, so she helps him fix it. And so he goes out, and they have this whole fight about her not going out.
I kind of every movie, every book, every time they always tell the woman, "You stay behind," and then shocker, we never stay behind. Yeah. And it's like, can you blame us? You want me to just sit back here?
You're gonna pay for this later.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Oh, well, in that case,
here I come."
Yeah. We discovered this. Who's his brat?
Anywho, not Casper the Friendly Ghost. Bradley's trying to break into their house, or to her house.
Yes.
And he does. He succeeds, and Josh knocks him out. In his backpack, Bradley has
a unalive kit.
An unaliving kit. And
probably one similar that would like make Dexter jealous. It sounded like it was professional.
Yeah. And Allie's like, "Well, we should just kill him now." And he's like, no, hey, let's maybe take it a step back.
Yep.
And they end up tying him up, and they're going to drop him off at his last victim's family's house.
Which, poetic justice.
Yeah. Oh. Who lives on a farm. Her dad is from the ex-army, and her husband is an ex-marine. So he's like, they'll take care of it for us. Mm-hmm. Well,
whoopsie.
Turns out, if you put tape over somebody's mouth and nose, they cannot breathe. So, that is what Josh did. So when they get to the farm, plans have to change.
Yeah. Went from, sweet. Uh-oh.
And he takes off his mask and he throws up because he's so, like, this goes back to his...
I am my father.
Yeah.
Did I do this on purpose? Like, low-key? Did I?
Yeah. And Allie says, now's probably not the time to gloat over that I knew your identity, right? Like, I was right.
Like, called it.
Yeah. And so then she's like, well, I know where we need to go. And so they get back in the car. And he is spiraling like no other. Like, maybe I was always meant to do this. Like, what if, which we learn later about the therapist thing, what his therapist said. And it's like, he's like really thinking that of like, maybe I was always meant to be a killer. And he says that to Allie and she's like,
You?
Yeah. Because he still hasn't told her about that. Allie, and this is where the book splits. Mm-hmm. Allie very nonchalantly says, my Uncle Nico is in the mob. Right.
Because of course.
And this is where it becomes a different book for me, and I was like,
I see what people mean.
Yeah. Do not get me wrong. I've read probably 50 different mafia novels. Like, love it. Eat it up. I don't want it to, like...
That's
it's
not
one
what
or the
this
other.
was.
Yeah. Anyway, and so they're gonna take him to her Uncle Nico
to
because
the family.
The dad said if anything ever happens, you need help, you go to your Uncle Nico. She doesn't really know him at all. Also, both her parents have passed away. Her dad died of like a heart attack after her mom died. You know what you do on a drive to go dispose of a body? They decide that they're gonna be boyfriend and girlfriend. So.
What better bonding experience?
And they're so happy.
Love.
And as they're pulling up to Uncle Nico's house, he puts on a disguise of a mustache.
And
glasses. And they pull up, and her uncle says, nice stash, Porno Joe. I loved that.
That
Hilarious.
was really funny.
And he's like, well, what are you doing here? And she's like, we killed somebody. And he's like, what?
Not out here!
So they go into the house, and Greg, Allie's cousin, who also works at the hospital, that was the favor they called in to get him working there, and Allie leave to go take the body to whoever it needs to go to, and then...
you drove the car in, you gotta drive the car out.
Yeah, and then Greg was gonna act like he was Josh. So 2 people come in, 2 people came out. And at some point, because it's all like, we gotta go now, like, we gotta go. And Greg snaps at Allie about, like, we have to go now. And it's, like, very firm tone. And that, like, triggers Josh. And he's like, don't do that again. Love.
Do not speak to her like
love that.
Keep my wife's name.
Yeah. Because his dad used to snap at his mom. And he always hated it. And then when they leave, Uncle Nico is like, tell me what happened. Josh tells him what happened. He's like, we need to do this, this, and this, and that. One of those things being the hard drive on Bradley's computer needs to be wiped because odds are he searched Allie, he searched the address, things like that. And he's like, hey, I'm your boy. I'm a tracker. I almost said it again. I'm a hacker. I can get in there and take care of it. It'll take me 10 minutes. So he goes with them. Doesn't end up happening because the police are there to serve a warrant for something for the previous girl's assault. But Josh gives Allie a key and tells her to go to his place with their son. He ends up telling Tyler,
go to your old hookup's house.
Yeah.
To stay with me now with your cat.
Yes.
Because that's not weird.
No.
And it's not, but like everyone knows that you would, as Allie, you'd be like,
well, Tyler's so cool with it though, because even then she's like, does Tyler even know about us? And he's like, hold on. And he's like, hey, remember when you asked me to help Allie? And he's like, you telling me you hit it off? And he's like, yeah, she's my girlfriend. She's on her way with the cat, with our son.
Yeah, and Tyler's like, okay.
He's like, I hate that cat. Anyway, so she goes to his house, and then her friend calls for the DNA sample. And she says, they're not a match. And she's like...
This was the worst timing for all of this, and I was just like, no, don't tell her.
Yeah. And she says, but I did some more digging because I was curious, and the blood sample leads back to a relative of the Ken doll killer. And Allie's all...
The fuck?
Huh? And then, kind of like to be expected, like everything that they've done, like, oh my gosh. And so she has her little spiral moment. Tyler is like, whoa, you okay? And she's like,
actually, no.
Do you know who Josh's dad is? And he's like,
Christ, here we go. Like,
this is not my problem to deal with. But he ends up really calming her down of like, Josh is nothing like his dad. You know, I've been with him since we were kids. It was really hard on him. Josh is a vegan because his father, you know, did some things that happened at a cookout, and
Hannibal
now
Lectered the family barbecue.
And now he no longer eats meat, and you know, he tells her about the therapist that really messed him up, and but he said it's great though, like I understand the boundary thing, but it's like having your own personal guardian angel, like you know Josh is gonna look out for you.
So sweet.
And it's all, and she's all, I wasn't gonna freak out, and he's like, no, really, because you looked like you were about to pass out there in the hall.
Yeah, you were totally playing it cool.
Yeah. And Josh comes home, and he's like, oh, hey, Allie knows about your dad. See ya. Like, literally.
Yep.
Literally the mood. And she's like, I get it. No. It's all good. And they take a shower. You know what happens in the shower?
Prayer?
Praying to her Lord and Savior.
Or just sing a song.
Yeah. And then the next day, they go back to Allie's house, and Junior is there, and he's like, we still have to go get that computer. Allie is very much, I'm coming with. And he's like, no, you're not. And then they have like this little bickering thing. And Josh goes, is this the part where I hold your earrings? Like, it was so funny.
That was really funny.
And also Nico wants to have dinner once a month as payment.
Because you don't just ask the mob for a favor and...
Yeah. So that is his return, to have dinner once a month. Which, she don't even know you. Anyway. They do break into Bradley's house. It's a whole operation. But then...
Full of errors.
Yes. But as soon as they go into the house, they smell decomposition. And they end up finding bodies in the basement. And so Nico's team is like, we need to leave now.
We're done.
This is a different this is a whole different thing. And Josh is like, I have to at least get up there and wipe the computer. I don't want anything coming back to Allie, so on and so forth. He gets up there, does his techie thing, and a car pulls up. Oh, Allie's waiting for him in the bushes. Like you
As
know.
one would.
Yeah. And a car pulls up, and it's Bradley's parents. And they're trying to get into his office. Josh is sweating.
Josh is in the office, got it like locked, and he's holding the latch.
Yeah,
while the
can you
parents are
imagine?
trying to undo it.
No.
Oh.
And he ends up finishing it. They can't find his phone anywhere, and he ends up
Jumping out.
basically jumping out the window. And they have to run, but it's snowy, and their feet are going numb, and the police are looking for him.
It's dark. The snow is deep. You fell and hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And you're running in the woods. Anyone else run in the woods at night? Real hard to see. I just had so much empathy for thinking about how physically hard this would be. And they
Your
really
lungs.
didn't do anything wrong. Like, in the grand scheme of things, compared to Brad and Brad's parents, like, they were the good guys. And they're having to run for their lives like they're the bad ones. Anyway.
Well, they're also hiding from the cops because the cops are looking for them. Things like that. They make it. And when they get home, Josh takes a shower and he's like scrubbing his skin. And he's like, I can just feel it on me. Like, I have to get it off. Like, I smell. And I was like,
whoa, like, what's going on?
And he basically tells her about a time when he was a kid and he was in his dad's car and it just reeked and he didn't understand it. And he had to have the window down and it was like gagging smell. And
I hit a raccoon, that's all.
Yeah, the dad said he hit a raccoon, and that's why it smelled. And then the dad came back that next weekend, and it was like so clean, and it didn't smell anymore. Or what now that he knows about his dad, yeah. You know, some other things happen again, to be expected. This time, mask and everything, lights, a whole production, really.
Oh yeah. Was quite the show.
And then we're 3 weeks later. They go to dinner at Nico's. And this whole thing, I kind of, again, like this is a different story to me. Mm-hmm. But they really want to know what's happening with the investigation and things like that. And they're like, we eat dinner first. Respectfully, I accidentally murdered somebody. You're helping me cover it up. I would like to know the details of what's going on. Mm-hmm. But they sit through dinner, and then it ended up being they had somebody who looked like Bradley go to the border of Canada and get cash out. His passport has been flagged as crossing the border. The shoes in the snow, they made Josh wear a size too small, which was Bradley's size. So they actually think that Bradley was the one running out, and also he has an accomplice because Allie has big feet. Rude.
I appreciate it.
And he's also carrying with a child. But so then after dinner, Nico and Josh have this moment of like,
I know what you are.
Yeah.
Says one shark to the other shark. They basically have like a predator meets the other predator, like.
And Nico says something before that about kind of like hinting at he knows who Josh's dad is, and Allie like nips it in the bud. Like, we don't talk about that. And Josh really gets kind of the upper hand on Nico.
Loved it.
Man. And then they leave and they exchange I love yous in the car because he just couldn't wait any longer. Now your favorite chapter, the epilogue.
It seemed like we were never going to get to the good stuff, and I'm like, well, now the book's already over? Like, well, all right. Like, so we get to the epilogue. Set the stage. They're playing hide and seek in a national park.
I don't think it's a national park. I think it's just the woods.
Oh, okay. The way it was talking, I was
interesting sightseeing
like,
if it's a national park.
Hey, get excited.
So he's all, roll the window down, roll it down.
So they play naughty hide and go seek in the dark. He has 20 minutes to find her.
It's an hour.
An hour?
It's an hour.
Okay, I thought it was
an hour to find her. If he doesn't, then she wins.
Oh, okay.
But she doesn't want to win.
True.
Yeah.
So she runs for her life.
Which they do get kind of violent.
Yeah, she's allowed to, like, fight back.
Yeah.
And, like, they both know jujitsu, so it's kind of comical to think about, like, that she's trying not to accidentally, like, dislocate his jaw while... And then they get it on in the creek.
And they get engaged.
Oh, yeah. That was cute, too, at the end. Because she proposed to him.
Yeah.
And then he backs up and gets a ring out. And it was, like, a really pretty ring, too, the way they described it. Like,
a teardrop.
Yeah,
ruby
with the black diamonds and stuff. Just very cute, very wholesome. And then...
Very wholesome.
For that.
Just, you know.
Look what this book has done to me. It's turned me into a whole different person.
And then they get back to the cabin, and they've adopted another cat.
That was cute. They got a kitten
cute.
with a crying face.
It was
I put
cute.
for the notes. This was my first dark romance, and second.
This is technically your second, yeah.
Okay, I just have to say, I liked this book better than Butcher and Blackbird.
Same.
Like, I don't know what it was that I don't know how to explain it. I just liked this one better.
I like the comedy of it.
Yeah.
I love a good laugh. You know, like if you can make me chuckle and blush.
At the same time.
10 out of 10.
Which is why we married our husbands.
Yeah. Literally. So, yeah. I thought it was really good.
Fan cast is if we were going to make the book into a show or a movie. What famous person, doesn't have to be an actor or actress, just who do you picture being them? And so for Allie, I chose Vanessa Hudgens.
I love Vanessa Hudgens.
I just thought she would be an excellent choice.
Yeah. I did, same kind of vibe-ish. Okay. I did Victoria Justice.
Yes!
Yeah. I had Lucy Hale first. And I was like,
honestly, I see it.
Yeah. Josh.
Christian Hogue. Susie's favorite Instagram model.
I almost said it's gonna be some guy from Instagram.
Yep.
Let me see.
I've been following him for a long time. Here, let me pick one where he's in a mask too, so you'll understand.
Yeah. He's a little too old for me. For that.
Not that old.
He looks a little bit older.
But no, I don't. That's true.
For the book.
Yeah, he should be. God, dude, drink some water and wear some lotion, Christian.
Sorry. I did...
You'll laugh about my choice for Tyler.
I did Matthew Daddario.
Good choice.
Connor, do you see this photo? This is the photo we're using. Okay. I'll screenshot it and send it to you. And for my own... No, yeah.
My own collection.
Okay, Tyler.
Ryan Reynolds. Run-of-the-mill, semi-attractive douchebag.
That's a pretty good one. I did a little off.
I almost didn't want to say it because I didn't want to give him the publicity.
Hilarious. I went a little bit more of the Hannah Montana route, and I did Lucas Till.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Hannah Montana
I like
movie?
your pick more.
Was in love with him when I was like 10.
Aww.
Did you cast any more people?
No.
Okay. Fred
I cast as, my sister had a cat named Gary a long time ago that would have been perfect because he was very picky on who he loved and he had a lot to say at all times. Tabby. Little chubby Tabby.
Guess who mine is?
Drax.
You're crazy. I did Leia. Because she's black and white.
And has a lot
and
to
has
say.
a mouth on her.
Facts.
And she's cute and sweet. And also, that's just what I was picturing the entire time.
Okay.
I was reading. Alright. I didn't do any more people.
Me neither.
Final thoughts.
I would like you to send me some more.
Okay. You asked for it.
Yeah.
I can do that.
There's been an awakening.
I'm glad it's going that way and not the other way.
Not like, I can never look at my friend the same. What a fucking freak.
Oh!
It's usually me that accidentally hurts myself.
Good. I'm glad. I'll send you some more. And then, hey, I always say everyone has their preference. If you're not into something, you just have to say it. It's fine. Yep. I don't judge.
Yep.
I really don't. My final thoughts. I love the comedy in it. The story was good. I don't think it's the best I've ever read, but, it was entertaining. I've read it twice, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah, it can't be awful.
And...
Gonna be honest, I probably won't read the sequel.
That's what I was about to say. I don't think I'll read the sequel.
Especially since there was an epilogue, like it tied it up in a bow, so I'm good.
My
as far
thing
as
is,
I'm concerned, happily ever after.
Again, it's just gonna be like a different story. It's not gonna be the story that it started out as, because now we're into like mob territory, which is a whole different thing. Because Junior's a part of the mob. It's gonna be
a whole thing.
It's different, but it was good. Yep. Elkie read this, loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. This was actually, I think, a recommendation from her. But anywho, that'll be it from us.
Like,
share,
subscribe,
comment,
follow
follow
the things.
Bye.